let's say the 10 Commandments. You want to put them on the wall. Having a classroom use a wrong translation is exclusionary specifically to other Christians who believe in the same thing.
This is one of the worst arguments I've ever heard. I have to be honest.
Really?
Yes. All right, would you concede this, that a Christian nationalist could be okay with some laws informed by his Christianity, but not others?
Informed, yes.
Okay, and want to pass through there. Like, for example, a Christian nationalist could say, I'm for banning homosexuality, and at the same time, I'm against having Orthodox as the state religion. Could a Christian nationalist do that?
A Christian nationalist could actually try to, just repeat the question.
Let's run out the clock. Sure. Could a Christian nationalist have these following two positions? On one hand, I want to make homosexuality illegal because of my religious interpretation. On the other hand, I do not want my specific denomination of Christianity to become the state religion.
What would be the reason for banning homosexuality?
It's a sin.
It's a sin. And is it universal between all of the Christian sects?
I would say no. There are people that identify as Christian that don't think it's a sin, I think.
Okay, so we now come to the same problem. You're favoring one section of Christianity over others.
So that doesn't answer my question.
Yes, it does.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
What was the question?
We're now favoring one section of Christianity.
What was the question?
You asked me. I asked you, is it...
No, what was my question to you?
Would you be okay, or would you say that it is, if we ban homosexuality, right? If that would be informed of Christian...
That wasn't my question.
Then repeat it for me.
Do you guys want to move back into open floor now and give it a try again?
We can try it if he wants.
Okay, we'll give it a try back into open floor, and then if it gets too rowdy again, we'll bring back the timer. Let's try that.
The question was, could a Christian nationalist have the following two policy positions? One, I want to ban homosexuality, and second, I don't want my denomination to be enacted as a state religion.
Okay, sorry, I actually misheard you the first time, because the
enough.
the second premise of your two questions is inherently antithetical to Christian nationalism, just as a definition alone. But your definition, Rob, which you
okay, well, let's say that it is.
It is okay. It does actually seem like it's okay in it, but I argue that your definition of Christian nationalism is secular. So
okay, that's fine. Under your definition of what Christian nationalism is, would a person be considered a Christian nationalist if they stood up and said, I have two policy positions? One, I find homosexuality a sin and it should be illegal. Second, I'm Catholic. I don't want Catholicism to be the official state religion. Now you're saying that second part's antithetical to Christian nationalism. Great. So that person that says those two things, are they a Christian nationalism or not?
That's not what you said in your first definition. So this time I'm hearing it clearly, right? The first time, or the second premise you had was a Christian nationalist that does not want to enact. Right?
Let me, for the fifth time, I'm going to talk real slow. Okay, you ready? Okay. I have two positions. Okay. First position, I think homosexuality is a sin. I want it made illegal. Okay, you got that, right? There's no question, no ambiguity about that, correct?
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about here.
Rob, come on.
Okay, position two. I, as a Catholic, do not want Catholicism to be enacted as a state religion. Do you understand what that means?
Okay, so yeah, that would be antithetical and paradoxical to Christian nationalism.
Okay, but yet I hold those two positions. Am I a Christian nationalist or not?
No, by definition, no.
Okay, so then you have no problem with people passing laws to ban homosexuality. That's not a Christian nationalist position.
No, the second premise is what makes him not a Christian nationalist.
Okay, but as long as someone wants to ban homosexuality but say, hey, I don't want my religion to be a state religion, they're not engaged in Christian nationalism.
Okay, so let's follow the first premise. Fine, we'll follow the first premise. The next question, Rob, is how are you coming to this, this law? What are you informing this law with?
Remember when we said there's no ambiguity with premise one?
Rob,
let me repeat myself. I think
it.
Homosexuality is a sin. Therefore, I think it should be illegal. You said, I get it. You don't have to keep hampering on it. I get exactly what you're saying. Okay, so now you know.
Okay, instead of yelling,
That's how I talk.
it sounds like
This
you're
is how I
informing.
talk, motherfucker.
It sounds like
Sam
you're
Jackson.
informing this law with Christianity, right?
That's what it sounded like, yes.
Do all Christians believe that?
It is irrelevant to what I'm asking.
No, it's not, because it's going to be exclusionary.
I do not believe all Christian people that call themselves Christians believe homosexuality is a sin. They should.
Okay.
I think
So
almost
you're-
all do, but maybe some don't.
That person is now a Christian nationalist, and they're excluding Christians, so it's less beneficial to
So
Christians.
now you've changed your answer. Now that person that holds those two positions is a Christian nationalist.
Yeah, I am.
Now, do you see the confusion? You continually flip-flop on your positions. You have no stable.
No, I
You
don't.
prep for this debate. This is your prompt. And you continue to waffle on your own positions. Even just now, you've back and forth of if that one person is a Christian nationalist or not.
Yeah, I was incorrect. Semantically, though, a little bit confused. That was my bad. But ultimately, Rob, what was the answer?
So that
The
person.
secular state is more beneficial to Christianity.
Okay, so
There's
then
no flip-flopping happening.
okay,
Nice
so
try.
just to be clear, anybody that passes a law that quote excludes what some other religion's morality is a nationalist for that religion, whether it be Christian nationalist, Islamic
you
nationalist,
Creating a
Judeo-
law on behalf of and favoring one religion or banishing another religion. Is
well,
that
that
what
wouldn't
you're
be
doing?
banishing a religion.
Are you prohibiting the free exercise thereof?
Is there any religion that gay sex is the free exercise? Is that religion? I'm unaware of
No,
that.
but not all Christianity believes that it's a sin.
So what? You could still practice your Christianity and homosexuality be a sin?
Okay, so my prompt though is that the secular state is more beneficial to Christianity as a whole.
But I'm
Because
not.
Christian
but
nationalism is excluding Christians now,
how does that exclude Christians in any way, shape, or form?
because some Christians could be gay, or some Christians don't think that gay people are a sin, right, Rob? So now we have one brand of Christian
Okay,
sect that is now
but
creating
any
laws
but
on
that-
behalf of them.
But that's unique to any political philosophy. Like in a secular governance will also exclude Christians on specific laws.
Like,
Like, for example, could a secular government outlaw homosexuality?
I guess it could.
Oh, wouldn't that exclude gay Christians?
I guess it could, but it would have to be
So then where's
informed
the
of a
uniqueness?
religious reason.
What's
It
the
would have to
difference?
be favoring one religion over another,
Well,
right?
that's irrelevant. It has nothing to do with favoring a religion.
Actually, wait. If it's banishing homosexuality because of their Christian faith or the religion, then that would be non-secular.
Doesn't matter. It would still be exclusionary to gay Christians. That was your whole argument.
If it's about them being Christian, then yeah, it would be non-secular. The state would be no longer
No, that
secular.
your point has. There's no reason why this unique like difference that you're talking about here would matter. A Christian that's gay is going to feel excluded if being gay is illegal. He would feel excluded if it's a secular government that made it illegal, or if it's a Christian government that made it illegal. In both cases, he feels excluded. Correct?
Except the moral code is being written by religion, right?
Wouldn't matter. He still feels excluded. That's your harm. That's the harm you're identifying.
Well, no, secularism is about, creating non-exclusionary practices.
No, that's not true at all.
Yes, it is. It
That-
promotes
wait.
the freedom of Christianity.
That
So-
first off, again, I go back to this, right? That is your unique definition, right? That I can't find any other.
It's not.
Secondly, even if that's true, that doesn't mean it's about non-exclusionary. Like even a secularist excludes all kinds of shit. There isn't a benefit of inclusivity to secularism necessarily. For example, you would exclude all the things that you make illegal would be excluded. That's by definition exclusionary. You don't think
They'd be
that's
abridged.
bad?
They would be abridged. Yeah, by definition, it means abridged. But here's
Okay.
an example. Okay, so why don't we just think of secular courts and prayer out of schools? This is a big topic. So for prayer out of schools and prayer in schools, do you think public schools should allow prayer? Well, like let's say a football team, hypothetically,
Sure.
does a prayer before.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that it is a type of prayer that is non-Catholic. It can be Reformist, Lutheran. The translation they use, it's not something that like the NRSV that a Catholic would use, right?
Okay.
Who decides what prayer is the right one to use? As in, like, what translation? Does that matter? Do you think we're
For whether or not it should be
Christians
allowed?
No, I mean, like, do you think people are going to have a contesting over which prayer is in the correct translation is to be used?
I don't know.
Or-
I'm not trying to be tricky here. Are you saying for it to be allowed, like legally, or are you saying is your preference of how you would want to pray? Do people have a disagreement on what Bible
again,
translation?
It's not really about like the law itself. It's more like, let's say we allow prayer now in public schools. Okay.
Yes.
So now we're talking about what is more beneficial to the Christian now. So there's lots of different types of Christians. They don't agree on the same translations. What if they use a prayer that their sect, like Catholicism, doesn't agree with?
Some Christians would prefer like King James Bible. Some would prefer NIV. Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
Okay.
So isn't that more exclusionary for Christians, depending on, let's say their high school coach, likes this version, and now he knows that one of his kids is a Catholic, so he looks at him differently because of it.
No,
This
I don't think
happens in real life.
I don't think it would be more exclusionary. Let me explain why. So your argument is
so for the Catholic
counter.
church?
So the counter to that is we should not allow prayers by the football team before the game. That's the counter.
By public schools, that way all of these types of Christianity don't have to feel excluded.
Let's go down this line. So I went to a public school. I played football. We prayed before the games. You're saying that should not be allowed because that was a public school.
I mean, technically, it's not, right? Well, actually, recently the Supreme Court. I don't know if you were.
I'm just saying. You're saying that my
but,
coach said everybody huddle up. Let's say a prayer. That should not be allowed.
Coach
Clark, God bless his soul, used to pray for us every game.
I do say yes, Rob. Only if it's on the field in the public setting. I mean, what if you had a Muslim kid on your team or a Catholic who didn't, agree with the version that you used?
So I just one more time, just to be clear. You're
or
saying
a Jew.
I just want to be clear. Last time you're saying we should not have been allowed to pray on the field before the game.
Rob, I said yes, and then I said other things.
Fair enough. I think that's more exclusionary to Christians.
I don't know how you can think that.
Because
there's no one saying you can't practice Christianity.
I think it's one thing that what you could say.
Other Christians on the football team, Rob, who don't share the same view as you, might disagree, and then they're excluded.
That's right. They may. That's right. They may. And they're not being forced to engage in that prayer. You're literally saying that I can't voluntarily do that prayer. How do you enforce this?
Though.
By the way, what if I as a person want to kneel and pray myself? You're going to run out in the field and say, wait a minute, was that a prayer? Were you just praying? You're not allowed to do that. This is a public field. You see the nonsense
Rob, I know it sounds tune-like, okay? It sounds tune-like, but you don't think there's any element of coercion on someone who just maybe doesn't agree with what the prayer is? A Jew or something?
No, I don't.
You don't think there's any coercion for that kid to then?
No.
Even if his position on the team might be taken away if the coach doesn't see him praying?
That would be coercive.
You don't think that happens at all?
But whether or not it happens isn't what the law should be. Whether or not we should legally be allowed to pray.
Do you not want to protect that kid on the team?
I want to protect my right to pray. And if that person wants to be Muslim,
no one is taking away your right to pray. No one is taking
yes, you just said you are taking it away.
No.
Yes.
Kids can pray. Kids can lead a prayer on their own.
I was very clear. I said we as a team gathered and we all prayed. And you said that specifically should not be allowed.
I'm talking about the coach. So if I misspoke and said that you leading a prayer, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the coach.
So I'm allowed to pray, but my coach isn't allowed to pray.
Yes, because he could be excluding a kid now.
Okay, now he's excluding everyone.
No, he's not.
Yes.
You can still lead a prayer.
Yes.
You just can't favor a religion as a public government servant.
On one hand, the 95% of our team that was Christians are now excluded because we're not allowed to engage in this as a team, which we were. And on the other hand, under your system, the 5% of people are being excluded. I'll take the 95. The Christians would be more happy that they get to pray. Yep. So your prompt is factually wrong. It would be worse for Christians. It would be worse for Christians.
Yep. I mean, over time, Rob, it would, because you start off with disagreements you don't see right now, but over time, you'll start disagreeing on a lot of things. That's how history works.
So just to be clear, there's spaces that are given in public schools right now for Muslims to do prayers. Should we ban that because kids could feel excluded?
Students doing prayers have always been able to do that. You can be a Christian and lead a Christian prayer as a student, Rob.
Well, wait, not necessarily.
A teacher cannot lead a prayer.
Wait, not necessarily. Right? For several reasons. Well, let me explain why. One, because there's differences. For example, Muslims are allowed to get out of actual school time to do these prayers. Are Christians? If I said, my denomination of Christianity is 5 times a day, I want to get out of class and go in the hall and have a special place where I could face north and pray. Would I be allowed to do that?
No, but they're not enacting you to do that, Rob. There's a difference between
But Muslims are allowed to do that.
There's a difference between asking for religious exemption and then enacting that on other people, Rob.
No, it's suggesting enacting it on other people. You don't have to participate if you don't want.
then you're advocating for a secular state.
No, I'm not. If my coach is a Christian and says, everybody sit down, say a prayer. Johnny, the gurney just came out to take Johnny. Let's all hold hands and pray. Heavenly Father, please protect him. Don't leave his leg be broken. Blah, blah. You're saying that's illegal. That should be illegal because there could be one kid on the team that's not Christian. But that's
Rob,
less exclusionary to Christians than if we said it was illegal.
I actually think that your scenario there, it probably has happened before. I'm not really that against that.
But wait a minute. Then you're Christian nationalist. Then you're Christian nationalist.
If the team wants to do that when a player's injured, okay. My point is that we shouldn't legislate the inverse here, Rob.
No. That's not your point at all. What's the difference between if a kid's injured or before the game to pray so no one gets injured? I'm
fine thinking of this standard versus law. If you know law, okay. If you know how law works, you can look at this as a standard instead of a rule, and we can take this case by case. In this circumstance, I would not want the coach punished.
Okay, but you would if he prayed before the game. Please don't let Johnny break his leg. I don't want the government
policy to enact that it can happen all the time.
No,
that's the difference.
No. That you have no differentiation why there would be a threshold difference between a coach praying with this team before the game, please let us all get through this game uninjured, versus praying when someone is injured of please don't leave the injury be that bad. Tell me what the threshold difference is.
The threshold difference is it's exclusionary for people who are not the same type of Christian or Christian at all.
Why wouldn't that be exclusionary in the latter example?
It is. I'm just okay with asking.
What's the
actually,
difference?
Rob, I'm okay because if we use a standard here instead of a law, we can look at this case by case and actually think about this in a more human way. Okay.
Sure. Why is the second more human?
Because one is mandating a policy that's day to day. That's okay. The other is under this circumstance. You know what? I don't think we should prosecute the coach. He shouldn't lose his job.
I don't think that it's day to day. I think that the idea is the same in both accounts. Both are appealing to what they see as a higher power to keep someone safe. One is before the game, before injury. The other is during an injury. There's no difference. Come on. They're both exclusionary, right? And the point is, I could be as absurd as you and say, wow, then that proves that you're for some level of Christian nationalism. The point that I'm trying to make here is quite simple. And you picked out this ridiculous hypothetical. I'm making a point, right? We shouldn't mandate Christianity. I don't think that by the way, we probably have vast disagreements on what we think the role of the government is in education anyways. But to the effect that we have public schools, I don't think that we should force all kids to pray, but I think we should absolutely allow them to do so. And I have no problems with the teachers praying as well.
We allow kids to pray.
Should we allow a crucifix to be on the wall?
What type of cross?
A crucifix,
an Orthodox cross.
Sure, whatever.
It's an Orthodox cross.
Any specific cross you could think of any religious denomination, should it be allowed to be on the wall of a public school?
I don't think so, Rob.
How about a pride flag?
A pride flag is not a religion.
I choose to disagree. I think it is their religion.
There's nothing to debate here, Rob.
Of course there's something to debate.
There's not. It's not a religion.
Of course it's their religion.
It's literally just
what's the difference? What's the difference?
I'm not gay. I'm not really transgender. I don't really care that much, Rob. But
can having the pride flag flag be exclusionary to people whose religion think it's a sin?
I guess.
Oh, so why is that exclusion allowed?
I don't agree with it. I said, you asked me if they could feel that. And I said, I guess, but I don't think it's true. I don't think
why wouldn't it be exclusionary? If I think homosexuality is a sin.
Because I think they're wrong and uninformed, Rob. The Bible never even talks about
so your subjective belief is they're wrong. So therefore it's okay to exclude them. Okay, well, Christian subjective belief is the homosexual.
I don't think we should enact laws based on their preference of what they think the Bible informs them on, bro.
Okay, I don't think we should. But the question is exclusionary. The reason you say that is because it's exclusionary. So explain to me why it's okay for teachers that want to put up pride flags or trans flags to exclude Christians that think it's a sin, but it's not okay for Christians to have prayer that exclude non-Christians.
How do pride flags exclude Christians?
Because it is glorifying a sin that they don't want to engage
with. You already agreed, Rob, that some Christians don't think it's a sin. So that's not a good argument.
Some do. The ones that do would be excluded.
So how does a pride flag exclude Christians?
It excludes certain sects of Christianity.
How?
Because they think it's a sin.
Are they not able to participate? Are they not able to?
In what way are they not able to participate?
Are we favoring gay people over them? Come on, let me
so then
if
there's a cross on the wall, why is that favoring Christians over them, over gays?
If it's an Orthodox cross,
it's just a regular
religion.
We'll just say it's just a regular cross.
How will the Orthodox Christians feel?
I think they'd be more fine with a regular crucifix up than an Orthodox crucifix
right now, but maybe not in the future.
Okay, so then like, think of what you're saying here. Well,
You're
if you
studying a
just
permission
had a
structure, Rob.
regular old crucifix on the wall, hypothetically, in the future, an Orthodox could say, you know what? I don't like that regular crucifix. I'd rather it be an Orthodox crucifix. Therefore, hypothetically, in the future, they could be excluded. However, it's perfectly fine for the trans flag to be up there and exclude them currently. That's okay.
Except trans flags don't exclude Christians.
Yes, it does.
A
It
certain
excludes.
type
Does it
of
exclude
Chris-
Orthodox?
A certain type of Christianity, Rob, does exclude Christians.
Okay, so just to be
Excludes
clear,
other denominations of Christians.
just to be clear, does a regular crucifix exclude Christians?
It would exclude certain Christians.
Okay, does a pride flag exclude Christians?
No, it has no relevance. to them.
Let me give the answer you should have given. It excludes certain Christians. Exact same answer.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
So there's
No,
no
it doesn't.
there's no sect of Christians that feel that that's a sin.
Feeling that it's a sin is not excluding you
Sure it is.
by government policy.
Forcing
No, it's not.
my tax dollars
Having
going.
a classroom, Rob, having a classroom, pick like a, let's say the 10 Commandments. You want to put them on the wall. Having a classroom use a wrong translation is exclusionary specifically to other Christians who believe
That's-
in the same thing.
This is one of the worst arguments I've ever heard. I have to be honest.
Really?
Yes,
You
I think
Christians have
anyone of
different
remote
forms of the
anything
10
of
Commandments?
remote. If you asked 100 Christians, look, if we put the 10 Commandments up there, but it was a slightly different translation than yours, would you find that more exclusionary to you than a trans flag? I think of 100
trans
Christians,
flags don't have
99
any
would say,
meaning to me, and it's
no,
not
the
religious.
trans flag would be worse. And you're like, no. That Christians would be more offended at the translation of the 10 Commandments that was slightly different than what they believe. That's laughable.
What moral code is a trans flag putting up there to enact on other people?
Celebrating pride of the trans community.